What's good, y'all? Psychonaut Visions signing in. We're at the spot where I first started feeling my shrooms trip kick in, the solo trip that I had, video that has the most views on this channel. And I just thought that fit just right to talk about psychedelics today. Talk about how we've been thinking about psychedelics recently. He hasn't been thinking about them at all, but I've had different thoughts about psychedelics, and we just want to make it to the top of our hike here and we'll talk about it. Yep. So yeah, see you soon. What's good, y'all? We're at the top here, winter vlog number 2, beginning of the season 2021. It's beginning of the year. And man, we want to talk about psychedelics. Our recent thoughts on psychedelics. Starting this video off slow, but I've been thinking about shrooms a lot. I mean, shrooms are basically the only psychedelics I really have a connection with, and I really have a connection with the sprain because it was when I had my solo trip and my spiritual awakening, and I can feel the spring coming a little bit closer. It's not really that close just yet because it's still the beginning of winter, so it's hard to tell if the days are getting a little bit longer. But I got up earlier this morning. I could tell that the sun was rising just a little bit earlier than usual. Just a little bit. You can tell just a little bit. Days are getting a little bit longer. It'll be more noticeable around February. And yeah, my recent thoughts on psychedelics, I want to do shrooms again, man. But I'm thinking of doing a 5 or 6 gram dose because I feel like I've just been fucking around too much. I feel like I've been taking these doses that are more recreational type doses. These doses that may not do anything for me. And I'm sure people have had profound experiences themselves on 3 or 3.5 grams. I have too, but it comes to a certain point where I feel like you have to push yourself to a certain limit. You have to really push yourself the extra mile and try to cope with the fact that a higher dose will be a more challenging trip, and I feel like that's a journey that I need to partake in. Specifically this year, hopefully around March, I can get my hands on some shrooms, but we don't really have the most reliable dealers around here. It's hard to find people who grow and sell, you know? I mean, I'm sure they're around, but it's hard to get our hands on. We can't exactly just grow shrooms in a tub in our houses because we live with our parents.
Yeah, we're just out here on a hike and noticing the hills as they turn green. You know, I think that psychedelics really, for me, and I think for Alex too, they really expanded our awareness of seasons. I've noticed so much more that the change in the falling of the leaves this year and the growth of the leaves, the growth of the plants and all that type of life. It's really opened up new perspectives on life for me. And I think that with psychedelics, I'm not looking to trip really soon. And I think for me, it really comes down to a day where it just hits me okay, I want to try psychedelics soon. And it just hasn't hit me yet. But I think the thing is that I have learned so far from these lower doses to kind of medium doses what I need to know. And I'm not saying I'm not going to trip, on a low recreational nostalgic type of dose anymore, but I want to raise the bar a little bit moving forward. And like he said, kind of, go out, get yourself out there, put yourself out there and challenge yourself. I think that's what we're going to try and do for our next trip, a 5 to 6 gram dose, and really see what that's like, because we've only really experienced one trip that was just kind of otherworldly in a way. And,
but that trip was very unexpected, almost. We weren't expecting to experience something like that, and we were kind of stuck there in one spot. Yeah. So it wasn't like we were able to go explore. We're distracted by each other, and I don't think we're going to do this 5 or 6 gram dose together. It'd be more alone, but we were talking about doing something along the lines of him tripping and me tripping on the same day, but I trip first, go up to the spot we're at now, and then he comes and meets me a couple hours later. So by the time he comes up here, I'll be pretty much done with my trip.
My trip will be kind of getting going.
Yeah. So another reason why I also want to do psychedelics is because I feel a profound connection to nature. I feel like it expands my psychic abilities. It's really hard to cultivate your psychic abilities and your intuition just by meditating and being spiritual. And I'm not trying to say that I'm just lazy. I'm too lazy to do this shit on my own without psychedelics, you know? Psychedelics aren't a bad thing, but it's not something that I want to be reliant on. And maybe that's something somebody would take from this if they're viewing this from an objective manner, but I really feel very connected to nature when I'm on psychedelics. So if I go at a higher dose, I feel like I could possibly have a breakthrough experience, not like a huge breakthrough, but like a good breakthrough experience where I am able to possibly connect with spirits and actually talk to separate entities, or even just see them. You know, I might not be able to talk to somebody, but I may be able to see someone with my eyes closed, or see messages scattered throughout. And I'm not trying to look for anything in particular, really. Like Will said, I already know everything I need to know. I understand what I've gone through. I understand what I need to do. I know what my purpose is, but I think psychedelics can still light other things along your path that you actually just never discovered before, no matter where you are, really.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to psychedelics too, you have to just be open-minded of what you're experiencing. Obviously, you can set intentions, but you can't just have like this certain expectation that this is going to happen, or else you're kind of just going into it and you're being closed-minded and not like embracing what is going on in front of you or what's going on internally. And I think that that's something that I could do more of. Like you said, relying on psychedelics is something that I did at first. I was really kind of just relying on them and not really integrating anything into my life or trying to take much. The first couple of trips I had, I was just like enjoying what was in front of me, but that was it. And I was going back to them in a way of just not really looking for, you know,
Answers,
right?
You weren't looking for anything in particular. You were just kind of doing them just to do them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think going forward, that's something that, or even I would say eventually I kind of stopped doing that, especially when I had like my bad trip, is when I kind of started to look at psychedelics in a really different light and just understood that, you know, you have to be open to whatever it is, even if it's negative, because those negative experiences and thoughts you go through are going to help you as well. And I think the bad trip that I had opened up more possibilities to me than any other trip I've ever had before. So even if it is negative, you know, accept it for what it is.
I think that's really what the goal of psychedelics is to help us spiritually cultivate. And I'm not necessarily trying to say that like it's taking too much time. I don't think it is. It's really something that you have to have patience with, but I think psychedelics can help you along your spiritual journey and give you an extra boost in morale, per se. They can give you an extra boost in determination and wisdom. Also, what psychedelics do is they dissolve the ego. So at a higher dose, we'll be able to look at everything in a more objective manner. We may be able to analyze our relationships better, analyze what we're doing better, analyze our habits and how we can possibly change some of those just habits to help us accomplish things better, how to pursue things in a more efficient manner, because it's something that I think, let's be honest, everybody struggles with because we live in a sick society. I'm just trying to say that psychedelics, they can help you. They can still help you pick out habits that you didn't really quite see were a problem or were becoming a problem, or even if they weren't a problem just yet, they'll still help you cultivate.
Or even habits that you can like start up or continue working on.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing though, psychedelics, they can't just completely change your life itself. Like you have to still be the one to do it. Like psychedelics will open you up to the possibility of growing as a person or getting into habits or quitting routines that you're doing that are not the best for you. And I think that's what's really so amazing about psychedelics. It's something that I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think psychedelics also, they can help create new beginnings almost, like especially around the seasons. People don't understand that psychedelics, they occur naturally. They occur in the earth. So they're there for us to consume in order to attain this higher form of consciousness, in order to connect to the natural world, in order to learn more things about ourselves, in order to humble ourselves and discover new pathways. I mean, this might be just a reiteration of what I've been saying earlier, but I mean, I kind of just have to get my point across that psychedelics can create new habits, new pathways, new divergences.
But they're definitely not for everybody, that's for sure.
They're not. They really aren't. I mean, that's all I really had to say today. I'm kind of running out of things to say, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just, I know that one day it's going to hit me, like, whether it's relatively soon or it's in a while, that one day I'm going to need to try psychedelics. And whenever I do next time, it's definitely going to be a higher dose. And I think I'm ready for it. So,
Same.
yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and Psychonaut Visions.
Hey.